Hi. So I wanted to highlight a book that my daughter got me for Christmas because it's just beautiful. It's written by Andy Watson. Andy Watson normally does the art for his stories as well. He's a really accomplished artist as well. He's been going since the late 80s, early 90s. I think he did his first strips, I think, for slave labour, if I remember rightly. I think he used to do a strip called Skeleton Key as well. But he's joined on this one by the artist Simon Gain, who did They're Not Like Us, which was one of my favourite Image comics from about, good God, it must be about 10 years ago now. But Andy Watson kind of moved from just doing black and white indie comics to doing he then became just doing like full length graphic novels, and this is one of his more recent graphic novels. This came out about a year or two ago. It's called Sunburn. Like I said, the art's by Simon Gay. I just love the color palette on that. It says Rachel is a teenager who lives a grey suburban life in grey suburban England. With her summer already mapped out for her, a job working at the butcher, and a caravan holiday in Clacton, it seems like this year will only bring more of the same. So when family friends invite her to spend the summer with them in Greece, she jumps at the chance to escape her life and finally be treated like an adult. The Warners are everything her parents are not: glamorous, sophisticated, and carefree. And when Rachel meets Benjamin, a handsome young friend of the Warners, her summer seems to be taking a turn for the better. But there's no escaping the pains of growing up, and she'll soon learn that life on a small island where everyone knows each other's business, may not be all it's cracked up to be. So it's $19.99. It's aimed at teen plus, so it's quite universal. It's the same size as a normal graphic novel, American format graphic novel, but the paper stock is really thick. It's on a nice matte paper, and the color palette, it's the palette that really appealed to me all the way through. I gave my daughter a list of about 3 or 4 books to choose from, and she chose this one. It's a lot of browns and blues, so it kind of gives you that hint of like a midsummer. So it's kind of like a hazy kind of vibe to it, and the art is just absolutely gorgeous. I'm not going to elaborate much on it because I've only just started reading, but I just want to bring your attention to it. If you look at something that's a bit different to what's out there, if you want something that's not violence, that's not superheroes, that's not monsters, that's not supernatural, just something as a palate cleanser, like a nice slice of life, almost like watching a nice drama on the TV. And sometimes I think I love all that. I love superheroes, I'm a huge superhero nerd. I love action, I love horror, but sometimes it's nice to take a break from that and just have like a bit of a palate cleanser, so you feel a bit refreshed. And this is what this does in such a gorgeous way as well. The artwork is just simply divine. This is an artist who I'd love to do maybe a Vertigo title, or even to upset the apple cart a bit, do something mainstream but make it not look mainstream, because he's very much like Daniel Warren Johnson, where you know his art style as soon as you see it. He's very, very distinctive. And there's quite a bit few talking heads in here, but because of how they draw things, it's very naturalistic. It's not like, say, when you're reading a Brian Michael Bendis comic, where it's just series of heads all the way through the page. There's body language as they're talking, and it's just small things like this, like just that thing where she's kicking a teddy off the bed. It's just the figure work, and the dialogue is just so naturalistic, and it's just a very realistic look at how sometimes you think things are always better on the other side. Things are always a bit more exciting. What other people have, what you haven't got, and it's about that. Everybody remembers what they were like when they're about 17, 18, when you're trying to find when you're in your mid to late teens, when you're trying to find yourself, trying to find your identity, and you just want something a bit more exciting. You feel like you're stuck in a rut. So this explores all that. It explores young love. It explores wanting and aiming for better. And it explores just being stuck in monotony and then suddenly being wrenched out of it and finding this whole new exciting world. Yeah, I couldn't. It comes from Harry's recommendation because I'm completely biased because my daughter bought it me. But as I mentioned with A Boy Named Rose, um, I just sometimes want a book, especially when it's a graphic novel, that you wouldn't find in a comic, in like a serial comic. You just want. Sometimes it's nice just to have something that's completely refreshing and different, something that it's quieter. There's not. Has seen all these big speech bubbles with all these all these effects in the speech bubbles and stuff. It's just dialogue between people, just a casualness and a laziness almost to the pacing of the story. Yeah, just really, really, I do urge if you want something that's a bit different, if you're a bit of a sucker for old time romantic dramas, give this a try. Or if you just want something that's reminds you of what it's like to be young, give this a try. So it's Sunburn by Andy Watson, art written by Andy Watson, art by Simon Gain, $19.99 from Image. Still readily available. Nice presentation as well. Like I said, really sturdy format. So I've lost my clicker. So that's it. I shall speak to you soon. I will be doing some 2000 AD centric videos coming up soon because I have taken out. I'll just give a. I'll give you a bit of this. I've taken out a subscription now to 2000 AD Judge Dredd. I used to get it from a comic shop, but because of the whole pile of shit what's gone on with Diamond, I was getting like 2000 AD every 2 weeks instead of weekly like it was meant to be. And there were missing issues as well. It's basically because in English time is great; it's getting itself sorted out. But obviously, there's a lot of still a lot of errors, especially with smaller labels like Rebellion and other independents. So I was finding I was having to hunt for issues what I'd missed. And I thought, right, I'll go for the subscription. But I will do a video looking at that and why I do recommend that it might be worth if you want to try 2000 AD to go that route instead of just getting it from comic shop. Okay, bye.